All right, guys, welcome to 8.3, division property of exponents. So here's another new rule. All right, when you are dividing same bases, let's see if we can figure out the rule. So a to the 7th means you have 7 a's in a row. A times A times A, 7 of these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and we're dividing by A squared, which is just A times A. 2 of them. Now, anytime you guys have a common variable or number on the numerator and the denominator, then they cancel. So it looks like we can cancel 2 sets. And how many do you guys have left on top? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the answer is A to the 5th power. All right, so what's the rule? Guess what you do when you're dividing exponents of the same base. What do you do to 7 and 2 to get 5? Don't we subtract? So that's the rule. When dividing powers with the same bases, you keep the base and subtract the exponents. All right, let's try some. And before we get started, we are not doing 7 and 8, so you guys can cross those off. Okay, so number 1, if we have the same base, we subtract the exponents. So the k stays, and 11 minus 5 is 6. All right, number 2, we have the same base of b, so the b stays and we subtract. Now be careful, guys. 9 minus a negative 2. Be careful when you subtract this because minus a negative, what happens? If you subtract a negative, it becomes a plus plus. So it's actually 11. So be careful on those. All right, number 3. Base is both p, so the p stays, and we subtract. 3 minus 9 is negative 6. But no negatives allowed, so you got to drop it like it's hot. So this one's going to be 1 over p to the 6. Remember, if your exponent's negative, you got to drop it to the denominator. 1 over p6. Number 4, there's a secret 1. So if you're dividing, the base stays m, and 1 minus 6 is negative 5. But same thing, no negatives allowed in your final exponent. So you got to drop it, and it's 1 over m5. All right, keep going. Number 5, now this one, we're going to actually clean up the top first. So on top first, K4 times K3, remember the rule when you're multiplying same bases you add? So across the top it'd be K7, and then now top to bottom we can subtract. So 7 minus 2 would be K5. All right, and then 6, we'll do the z's separately from the y's. So the z, we have 4 minus 3 would be z1. And then for the y's, 6 minus 9 would be y to the negative 3, but no negative exponents, so the y needs to get dropped. So the final answer there would be z1 on top, but y to the 3rd on bottom. All right, looks good. On to the bottom. If there's any, well, we won't worry about that for this one. Okay, so number 9, let's subtract. 4 minus 5 is negative 1. So it's 3a to the negative 1. but no negatives allowed. So the base and the power need to drop. But the 3 was good. So final answer would be 3 over A1. Okay, the 3 stays, but the 1 drops. Okay, now this is what I was talking about. If you guys have normal numbers, like not exponents, what is 10 divided by 2? Like normal numbers, 10 divided by 2, you actually divide. It's 5. But then exponent rules, when you're dividing, you subtract. So 5 minus 3 is 2. So I guess the point of these bottom ones is if you have normal numbers, divide, but exponents you subtract. All right, so number 11, normal numbers divide. 6 divided by 3 is 2, but exponents you subtract. 6 minus 2 is 4. And then we can skip number 12. All right, guys, one more thing on the last page and then we're done. If you have a fraction to a power, you just need to distribute to the top and the bottom. So if it's R over S and we give them both 1s, it would be R7 over S7. So just distribute to both. So to find the power of a quotient, distribute the power to both the numerator and the denominator. It's got to go to both. And then simplify like normal. Okay, so number 1, give them both 1s. And then power to a power we multiply, you got to give it to both. So it's x3 over y3. And they stay where they are. All right, number 2, give them both 1s and distribute to both. So we have z negative 2 over b negative 2. But no negative exponents, so that means the z needs to drop and the b needs to go to the top. Since they're both negative, they just flip-flop. So final answer, the b squared is on top and the z squared is on bottom. And they become positive when you move them. All right, number 3, let's give them both 1s and distribute to both. So it's going to be 2 to the negative 1 over 3 to the negative 1. So same idea, no negative exponents allowed. So this guy's got to drop and this guy's got to go to the top. All right, so on top now we have 3 to the positive 1. On bottom now we have 2 to the positive 1. All right, last one, guys. Power to a power you multiply, but you got to distribute to both. So it's going to be K9 over M12. All right, great job, guys. A lot of stuff today with division and fractions.